Hi guys, this is Lalana. Thanks for tuning into the Sovereign Path. So today I'm going to answer or I'm going to address some of the comments that I got for yesterday's video, Who Are You Choosing? So specifically in this video, I'm going to hit on one of the comments that I received that was basically around to sort of sum it up. Why can't I let go of the yearning? Why can't I shift into, the idea of that we are one, that we are not separate, and this sort of thing. So I think I just want to just address this, and this may be another slight trigger for the ego, this content and this video. Bottom line here is that the reason that we find it very difficult to let go of the yearning and the wanting, and the striving and the pushing and the chasing and all of those sort of things is because of the aspects of us that we still perceive as unhealed or wounded. So generally speaking, this comes through as the inner child aspects of us that feel unseen, unheard, needs unmet, unloved, unwanted, all of those sort of things, rejected, abandoned, not chosen, all of these sort of things. All of these sort of woundings that we all carry, they play out in a way that activates the emotional pain body to react when these wounds feel like they are not being seen, heard, validated, wanted, chosen, all of these sort of things. And so it's basically just, it's like, we hear a gut reaction or the knee-jerk reaction of what is coming up within us, which we have sort of become used to in the 3D reality of separation in regard to romantic relationships. So we've become used to having sort of that up and down, on and off kind of thing in romantic relationships. Most of us. It's like passionate, and then it cools off, and then it works out, or it doesn't work, or we're arguing, or we're not arguing, or now we're getting along, and now things are peaceful, and now things aren't working again. And so we're always working from this dualistic paradigm within the 3D. What's happening is that when we're having those highs and lows all the time, it's triggering the emotional body. Right? It's triggering the emotional pain body, and it's triggering the responses that you would have had to these certain circumstances or situations or people that your inner child would have reacted to, right? Whether the inner child would have reacted to is, oh yay, we're going out to dinner and we're gonna get ice cream, and so that's amazing. Or the inner child would have reacted to, what do you mean you don't have the same feelings for me? Or what do you mean, you're not showing up for me in this way, or whatever, right? And so we can look at it as the inner child, we can look at it as unhealed wounds, we can look at it as aspects of ourselves that are still looking to be seen, heard, embraced, loved, all of these things. We can use whatever, sort of definition of what that is that we want to. But ultimately what it is they are aspects of the emotional pain body that are screaming to be seen. Since we have been operating from this system for so long in regard to romantic relationship, it's very difficult for most of us to shift out of this automatic system, right? And the thing is that when we're reacting in this way, it's usually because we're reacting from an overactive solar plexus on some level, and potentially we haven't really learned how to transmute energy. We haven't really learned how to be with our emotion, to be okay with our emotion, all of these sort of things. And generally speaking, most of us in this reality, we learn at a fairly young age how to shut down our heart chakra. Almost all of us, you know, it just is, you know, almost all of us, we sort of learn how to start putting up those layers, right? Putting up those blocks, you know, erecting the walls and all of these sort of things. And so when this happens and we systematically, usually unconsciously, start not trusting, not believing, not being sure, not feeling loved, etc., 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 we start shutting down our heart. And this starts creating even more, or I should say sort of cementing even more without our awareness that we are actually blocking ourselves from the higher aspect of us, from allowing love to flow in. This is why I talk about, in a lot of my coaching calls, about bringing the feminine aspect of all of us back online, bringing that receiving energy back online, allowing yourself to receive love, regardless of you're a man or a woman, allowing yourself to really receive that love. For most of us, if we are in a situation where the emotional body has been triggered so many times and we have adapted to what we perceive as traumas and karmas, and negative experiences and what have you, then we have generally unknowingly, sometimes knowingly, sometimes it's a conscious decision, shut down the things that we don't want to feel by shutting down our heart chakra. And then systematically, without being aware of that, we are also shutting down our connection with source, God, creation, all that is, right? The connection of feeling what true unconditional love actually is, which has no condition, right? Which has no, sort of set rule on it of you have to act this way in order to be, loved in this way, or I have to be perfect in order to be seen by my parents, or, I have to be a high achiever in order to feel like I deserve love. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. But so what happens is that whatever these aspects of us are, and if they're still running, we're gonna know it very, very quickly, like instantly. They're gonna get triggered by the twin, by another romantic partner, by a parent, by a job situation, by a friend, whatever it might be. And so when we have those immediate reactions, right, those immediate, knee-jerk gut responses, they're coming from something within us that is not being healed, and the emotional body responding to that in a very negative way. And when we have been responding this way for potentially lifetimes, it feels completely foreign to shift out of that. And the ascension process, and specifically the Kundalini rising and the dark night of the soul, is literally breaking you open, right? This is what the heart activation is about. It's breaking your heart chakra back open. It's reconnecting, not that it was ever disconnected, but there was a veil up in the 3D reality of separation, that it felt like we weren't connected to source in the way that we know, right? But don't remember, but that we know that is what we are. That is, we are a spark of source, God, love, creation, all that is. And so opening up the heart chakra is hugely important on this path. And opening up the heart chakra doesn't mean that now I'm open to romantic love. It means I am open to the actual frequency of unconditional love itself, right? The actual frequency of love, the truth of love, not the type of love that needs to be rewarded for certain actions and punished for certain non-action, those sorts of things. And so the reason that we find that it's so difficult, most of us, to have this yearning, chasing, wanting, addictive, obsessive thing with the twin, which is not just only with the twin. A lot of us experience this with all sorts of romantic relationships. We can experience this with karmics. We can experience this if we're going through some sort of a limerence state. We can experience this with a breakup. We can experience this in the beginning stages of meeting someone, where the emotional body has just basically jumped the track, right? And it's speaking and it's stomping its feet and it wants to be seen, it wants to be heard, it wants to be validated. What's basically saying is that I want love. I want love, and I don't know how to get it because on some level, something within me has been blocked off or shut down, or there's a fear, you know, the list goes on and on and on. And so we're looking to the twin or potentially any romantic partner, fix me, show me as in the emotional body, right? The emotional pain body that's having a fit. Show me that I am worthy of love. Show me that I can be loved. Show me that I can receive love. So it's this backward, you know, it's just how this reality has been playing out, right? And that's all fine and good. Again, I'm not villainizing it. But this is part of separation consciousness because it's part of feeling that we are separate from source, that we're separate from love, and that we have to do things in order to earn it. And so any kind of rejection that we feel that may be happening from the twin, whether that's separation, whether it's ghosting, whether it's just, you know, having no communication whatsoever, whatever that might be, it's triggering those wounds. It's triggering the wounds. And so this is where it's so important to take the focus off the masculine in these situations and to feel into, okay, this is coming up for me and I need to see this. And almost never is it going to be something that you haven't already seen or felt or dealt with before you met the twin. Because these wounds are generally old, really old. Some of them you're carrying from other lifetimes, as I said, right? But they're all coming down to that one core wound that all of us have on some level, all of us have. And so the twin flame dynamic and the ascension and the awakening and the dark night and all of these things, the higher self, it's scratching at those wounds. It's scratching at them. It's triggering them. It's pushing them, right? And it's not doing this to be cruel or mean or any of those things. It's doing that so that we have the awareness of this is still here and this is still what's keeping your heart chakra blocked. It's what's still keeping you blocked from that higher awareness, blocked from that higher ascension, blocked from actually receiving the love that you are, right? The thing is that, you know, we've been conditioned to, and it, you know, and it's fed through movies and novels and, you know, fantasy and all of these things. So we've been conditioned to seek love outside of us. And when we don't get that in return, it triggers every single solitary time that we felt that we didn't get that love in return, or that we had to do something to earn love. And so it just becomes, unfortunately, a cycle and a pattern and a program that continues to run. And we get so used to this by default that it becomes that state of being uncomfortably numb, as I say often, uncomfortably numb, because we're comfortable in that energy. We don't like it. We want it to stop. We don't want the suffering. No one is choosing that. But it's been playing for so long that the record just keeps skipping. Skip, 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 skip. And it's like we haven't fully learned how to pull the needle off of the vinyl and, you know, either start the record over, start a new record, hopefully, start an entirely new record, right? We haven't always, you know, gotten to that place of having that recognition of, okay, wait, you know, this is something within me. This is my emotional body freaking out. This is my pain body having like an immediate response. And I'm just going with that response, right? And the fact that we're just going with that response in a way that's making us fly out of control and off the handle is just showing us, okay, wait, this isn't my highest timeline, right? This isn't my highest timeline. I don't like the way this feels. For most of us, we felt this thousands of times potentially in several lifetimes. So like I say, it's a very familiar energy. We all have an individual awareness of what it feels like to be rejected or abandoned or not seen or heard or loved and all of those sort of things. So it's a very familiar energy. So it's not usually something that you're having to look for and sort of dig through, you know, the files of, well, let me find the next wound of what it is. Like, it's usually very, very like upfront and in your face. The thing is that generally we just don't want to deal with it, or, you know, the ego is telling excuses around it, or it's like making explanations, or it's still telling a story, you know, or still going into the past and telling the story about the past and all of these things, or it's like projecting out into the future and all of these things. And so we have a difficult time of just staying in the present moment with what it is and just looking at this wound for what it is and dealing with that, right? It's easier to feel like I just need somebody outside of me to validate me, to make me feel better. It's easier. Like, I get that. It is. It's an easier road to take. But the fact that we generally choose that road over and over again without, you know, choosing to go within or choosing the self, as I said in that last video, choosing your own love, right, is the reason that that wound continues to cycle and perpetuate itself. And the narrative continues to cycle and perpetuate itself, which is what creates the yearning to continue. So you could look at it this way. For most people, yes, the twin flame dynamic it's incredibly intense, more intense than any other dynamic you will probably have ever experienced, without a doubt. But it's very unlikely that anyone on the other side of this camera hasn't also experienced some sort of heartache or heartbreak in other, you know, romantic relationships in the past before you met the twin. Right? These wounds were already here. They were here. They usually come about in your childhood or in early adolescence and things of that nature. And some of them were pulling in, as I said, from past lives. And so it's like, it's not new. And your twin is you, so they know it's not you. And so the twin is just showing you over and over again, please let this go. You're not damaged. You're not broken. You're not messed up, right? You're not wounded. It feels like you are. And the emotional pain body keeps telling you that, right? And so a huge part of this path, and I know that it feels scary, and I know that it feels uncomfortable in the beginning. I completely understand. Like, I've been where everybody on the other side of this camera has been. I can promise you. I can promise you. And I know how uncomfortable it can get in those places where you have to but the places where you have to just be like, you know, I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to keep my heart open, and I'm going to relearn how to receive not everyone else's love, but my love, right? Everyone else's love will come next. It's your love. This is why I make videos that say things like, who are you choosing? And I know people get triggered by that because it's natural for us to choose someone else, or it's natural for us to feel like, well, does that mean you don't care about them? No, it means that until I know that I can fully love me, I can't love another romantic partner. I can't. No one can. And it's a lie to think that we can. And that's the thing. And that's why it's so important, not only on a twin flame path, but in your life, to choose your love, right? To choose your validation, right? Because we can't get it outside of us. And even if we have, like, you know, a parental wound and things like that, and, you know, we do the Ho'oponopono and we do forgiveness and we talk to our parent and all of those things, and we get into a really good place, and all of those things are wonderful. It's still a you and you job when it comes to really embracing the love that you have for you, that most of us have abandoned unknowingly during our lifetimes that we've been experiencing separation. So it's natural for us to yearn. It's natural for us to want, right? It's natural for us to feel that urge, to have that, you know, that void that we feel within us, you know, mended, fixed, healed, all of those things. It's completely a natural response of the emotional pain body. And because it's a response of the emotional pain body, and because generally speaking, most of us have closed our heart chakra down, and so we don't even know how to receive love, right? Then this means is that we need to shift up into the heart. We need to open that heart chakra. It's the whole purpose of the heart chakra activation that happened in the beginning stages with you meeting the twin, right? Because the heart chakra is your compass. It is your guiding light. It is your tether to source. It is the truth of what you are. It is unconditionally loving. And it brings you back into the awareness of, oh, this is what I am. This is what I've always been. I am love. I've always been love. I don't need to search for love outside of me. I am that, right? I am complete. I am whole. I am loved. I am sovereign. I am seen, right? That's the thing about this path, and it feels so damn painful on several levels as we're moving through it before we get to that place where it's just like, you know, the aha, I get it. I remember. It's a remembrance. Again, you're not trying to get somewhere new. You're not trying to get somewhere new. This is what you have always been. You're just peeling back the layers that have been covering up all of this stuff for so long. That's it. It's painful. It is. But it's also the perception of saying, like, I would rather dig through and release these things as they come up than continue to replay them over and over again. Because as I said before, we know where that road leads. We know where that road leads. We've been on that road like 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times. We know where the road leads to not loving the self. And if we're not loving the self, if we're not embracing all aspects of the self, call your shadow home. Call your shadows home. Call every aspect of you home. That's what they're asking for. That's why your inner child is stomping their feet, having a fit, and throwing themselves on the ground, right? Call them home. 222 when I said that. Call the parts of you that you don't like home. Call the parts of you that you have abandoned back home to you, right? That's why the emotional pain body is having a fit. And so we're looking outside of ourselves to heal it and to fix it. And all the while, if you're on this path, Source is saying, I'm right here. Higher Self is saying, I'm right here. You've always been love. You've never not been love. You've always been loved. You will never not be loved. It is absolutely impossible, because Source itself is the frequency of love, and you are a spark of Source. And so anything that's coming between that is just something that we have experienced, identified with, defined, labeled, projected, all of these sort of things. And it just became this manifestation that we continue to create, which again is fine because that was the experience. But now you're going through experience of saying, okay, I know what that road is. I've been down it. I know what that experience is. I've had it. Lifetime after lifetime, I've had it. And so I'm choosing to have a new experience. I'm choosing to have a higher timeline experience. And so that means I need to sit with this stuff and look at it and deal with it and love it and allow it to go, right? You're not allowing your inner child to go, right? You're embracing all of these things, but you're allowing the trapped energy to go, right? Because it's trapped energy that is, manifesting itself over and over again, and it's creating blocks, all sorts of blocks. And so it's allowing that energy to move, right? It's allowing your heart chakra to open, being vulnerable, being in that loving, vulnerable place that is you. So it's not about, I had another comment say like, it was it caring. Caring is a huge part of relationship. And so I'm not sure what the context of that necessarily was, but how do you play out having a romantic interaction with your twin? There is never anything about not caring. Unconditional love is having complete and utter honor, reverence, and sovereignty for every single solitary soul on this entire existence of all that is, because we're all one. I am you, you are me. There actually is no difference. We are just having individuated experiences, and that's it. Source is experiencing itself in trillions of different ways at once, and we are experiencing that together, right? It's when we move from a place that's saying that I need something outside of me in order to complete me that we get off track on this path. And when we place conditions that are saying, I have to act a certain way in order to be deserving of my twin's love. Right? The thing is, as I keep saying, this is coming from within you. Your love is coming from within you. You are literally magnetizing your own love to everyone around you. The twin is you. There is no possible way for you to not love the twin as much as you love you, because they are you. There's no possible way that you cannot care about the twin as much as you care about yourself, because they are you. What happens is that we have blocked true love for self, right? We're still remembering what that is. We're still remembering that love has no condition. We're still remembering that the true aspect of love and all it is a frequency. It is literally creation. And so we're coming out of the illusion and coming out of the dream, and we're coming back into the truth of what we are, which is source, God, unconditional love, creation, reverence for other and for everyone on their path, and all the things that they are experiencing for the soul's growth of the one. It's still of the one, right? So when I say things about paying attention to you and bringing the energy back to you and focusing on you, it's because the twin flame path, which is what we're talking about on this channel, is a reflection of you. It's a reflection of you. So if you are out of alignment, then you're going to be out of alignment with them, because that's what they're going to reflect back to you. And so if you are not coming into your full self-love, opening that heart chakra completely, listening to what's coming up, then you're not in a position yet to receive your own love, much less give love, right? The twin is not separate from you. The twin is not someone out there that you're saying, I don't care about. It doesn't work like that. Twin is you. One soul, one consciousness, one energetic system. The twin is you. And the only reason that we have apprehension or annoyance or frustration with the twin is because we have it within ourselves. And that's it. Right? It's really as simple and as, I guess, complicated as the mind wants to make it. But it's only the mind that's doing that. As I've said in other videos, this is actually a very simple path. It's just that we have been so conditioned to think and think and think and think and think things to death, and have all of these sort of societal norms and belief systems and programs and patterns, that it takes a while to unravel them. It's a process. This is why I keep saying, be patient with yourself, be loving with yourself, be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself. You are literally releasing lifetimes and lifetimes of things that you have taken on. It's not going to happen in a year, 2 years, 3 years. Depends. Everybody's different. It's all unique. But you have to have that awareness. This is a process, and it does take time, even though time doesn't exist. And all of those reflections that we're seeing and all of that stuff, all of that yearning, all of that wanting that's feeling like so foreign, it's the aspects of you that are saying, I need you to love me. That's the crux of this thing, guys. It's the crux of this thing. It's not about whether the twin is showing you love. It's not about them. They are you. They're just showing you you. That's all it is. They're just showing you you, right? And so it's about you loving you. It's about you loving you. You love you, then that's the reflection that you see, right? So I hope that helps you guys. You have an awesome day.